riches. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickets. Turning data to gold. $1 trillion tickets. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickets. Turning data to gold. Grand Rising. Joyous awakenings. Good afternoon or good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Ticket broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. It is Thursday, August 6, 2026. Happy Thursday. This morning's economic data delivered what could initially be described as a Goldilocks-style combination. The unemployment claims came in well below expectations, suggesting that layoffs remain limited. Productivity grew more than twice as fast as the forecast, while unit labor costs rose much less than expected. That combination points toward a resilient labor market, stronger worker productivity, and potentially softer inflationary pressure from labor costs. Meanwhile, the Fear and Greed Index has climbed to 60, placing the market firmly in greed. But earnings season is remaining as Earnings season reminds investors that strong numbers do not guarantee positive reactions. SanDisk, AppLovin and Western Digital, Datadog. We'll get to all those results later. This show is for education and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you can use the show as a foundation. Before we get into the chart, let's get into the mindset with our mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I'm the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable, I am skilled, I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, let's get into some data. We received 3 important economic reports at 5:30 a.m. today. Unemployment claims forecasted was 203K. The actual number came in at 199K. So it wasn't well below, it was just barely below. That was a mess up by ChatGPT. Next, we had preliminary non-farm productivity was forecasted to increase 0.6% quarter over quarter. The actual increase was 1.4%. Higher productivity means businesses are generating more output for every hour worked. Over time, stronger productivity can support economic growth without creating the same amount of inflationary pressure. Preliminary unit labor costs were forecast to rise 2.2%. The actual increase was only 1.3%. That lower reading suggests labor costs per unit of output are rising more slowly than anticipated. Taken together, today's report shows fewer unemployment claims, stronger productivity, and softer labor cost growth. The next major labor market catalyst arrives on Friday morning with the July unemployment report. The Fear and Greed Index is at 60. We are in greed. Investor sentiment has improved considerably from the Fear and Greed extreme readings we experienced earlier this summer. That improving sentiment can support market momentum, but it also means traders should be careful about chasing extended moves without confirmation. The VIX is at 16. The 10-year Treasury yield note is at 4.64%. Gold continues to display significant strength, now trading at $4,259 an ounce. That strength is especially notable because gold is advancing while the Fear and Greed Index remains in greed. Investors appear willing to participate in risk assets while maintaining exposure to defensive and inflationary sensitive assets. Bitcoin is around 64,474. Ethereum is around 1,900. And now let's get to these earnings. So let's begin with SanDisk. Stock of the year last year. SanDisk beat earnings expectations by 12.2% and revenue expectations by 5.4%. Revenue increased 61% to $3 billion with strength across its major end markets. Despite those results, SanDisk is currently down about 10% from yesterday's close. Next, we have AppLovin. AppLovin beat earnings expectations by 0.1% but missed on revenue by 0.9%. Revenue increased 53% year over year, while net income from continued operations climbed 64%. However, the revenue miss and concerns surrounding the outlook outweighed the headline growth. AppLovin is currently down 19.3% from yesterday's close. Next, we have Western Digital. Beat expectations by 7.2% and beat on revenue by 1.2%. Revenue growth remained supported by cloud and client demand. Despite the beat, Western Digital is currently down 14.3% from yesterday's close. The storage industry continues to benefit from AI-driven data center demand. However, the reactions in SanDisk and Western Digital demonstrate how aggressively future growth may already be reflected in valuations. Next, we have Elf Beauty. Elf Beauty beat expectations by approximately 145% and revenue expectations by 11.1%. Net sales increased 14%, but reported net income was pressured by higher costs associated with the Rode acquisition. Elf Beauty is currently down 1.4% from yesterday's close. We have Mercado Libre beat expectations by 6.2% and revenue expectations by 4.1%. Revenue recorded strong year-over-year growth, but net income was pressured by rising costs and credit losses. The stock is currently down 4.4% from yesterday's close. Next, we had ConocoPhillips beat earnings expectations by 11.6% while missing revenue by 0.3%. The stock is currently up 2% from yesterday's close. Next, we had D-Wave Quantum. Did I say D-Wave Quantum? I did. Okay, D-Wave Quantum missed earnings by 18.1% and revenue expectations by 23.6%. The stock is currently down 10.9% from yesterday's close. And Datadog beat earnings expectations by 11.4% and revenue expectations by 3.9%. Despite beating both headline estimates, Datadog is currently down approximately 16.4%. That reaction suggests investors were focused on forward guidance, valuations, or other details beyond the reported quarter. After the closing bell, we have DraftKings, Airbnb, Rigetti Computing, and Trade Desk. Next, before we get into charts, let's check out Robert Greene's Daily Law for today. Title, Keep Them Guessing. Daily Law. To keep the public's attention, keep them guessing. Let the moralists accuse you of insincerity, or of having no core or center. They may actually be jealous of the freedom and playfulness you reveal through your personal persona. Here's the breakdown. Only months after arriving in Paris in 1926, Josephine Baker completely charmed the French public with her energetic and unconventional dancing. Less than a year later, however, she could feel the public's interest beginning to fade. Since childhood, Baker had hated feeling like her life was outside of her control. She did not want to remain at the mercy of the fickle audience. She left Paris and returned approximately a year later with her image completely transformed. Instead of returning as the same performer, she presented herself as an elegant French woman who also happened to be an extraordinary dancer. The French public fell in love with her again, and the power returned to her side. Robert Greene argues that anyone in the public eye must understand the power of surprise. People become bored not only with their own lives, but also with the people who are supposed to entertain or inspire them. The moment they believe they can predict your every move, their attention will begin to fade. Andy Warhol used the same strategy, moving from one incarnation to another, artist, filmmaker, and society figure. The lesson is always keep an element of surprise and reserve. Familiarity can build trust, but complete predictability can weaken attention. Growth requires consistency in your fundamental values while maintaining flexibility in your strategy, presentation, and execution. You do not have to abandon your identity, you have to continue developing it. For long-term investors, long-term investors must distinguish between a company's durable identity and its ability to evolve. A successful company may preserve its mission while changing its products, distribution, technology, or business model. The strongest businesses keep competitors and consumers guessing by continuing to innovate. However, surprise alone is not enough. Investors should determine whether the company's changes improve revenue, margins, competitive advantages, and long-term cash flow. A company that never evolves may become obsolete. A company that constantly changes direction without producing results may lack a coherent strategy. The best long-term investments often combine a stable foundation with an ability to reinvent themselves. For day traders must also avoid becoming completely predictable. If you trade the same setup regardless of market conditions, the market can punish that. A breakout strategy may work in a trending environment, but fail repeatedly in a range-bound session. A dip buying strategy may work during risk-on momentum, but become dangerous when the market structure turns bearish. Keep your risk rules consistent, but remain flexible in execution. Always allow price action, volatility, volume, and market conditions to determine which strategy is appropriate. Do not surprise yourself by abandoning discipline. Surprise the market by refusing to become trapped in one expectation. Stay patient, stay disciplined, execution over emotion, process over prediction. Now let's get on these charts, y'all. Start out with NVIDIA. Currently in the pre-market at 221.28 to the downside support. We got the pre-market low at 218.45. Underneath that, we got 217.25. Then we got the top of the gap at 216.40. Inside the gap, we got 214.40. And then the bottom of the gap at 213. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 222.38. And then 225.95. Next, we got Apple currently in the pre-market at 314.77 inside the gap. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 313. And underneath that, we got 311.70 and 307.95. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 314.75, then 317.30, 319.35. Next, we got Google currently in the pre-market at 359.60. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 359.38, 356.75, 351.75. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high 366.83, followed by 373.15, 375.25, 376. Next, we got Microsoft currently in the pre-market at 484.97. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 481.70, 479.15, and then the top of this gap at 475. Down to the upside support, to the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 487.95, followed by 491.49, 497.80. Next, we got Amazon currently in the pre-market at 273.90. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 273, followed by 270.75, 268.85. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high 275.35, 276.90, 279.25. Next, we got TSM currently in the pre-market at 411.25. It is inside the gap. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 409.50, 407.45, which is the bottom of the gap. Underneath that, we got 401.55. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 413.52, followed by 418.70 and 425.15. Next, we got AVGO currently in the pre-market at 419.45. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low 416.50, followed by 415.20, 407.50. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 421.50, 422.80, and then the bottom of this gap here that starts at 426.50. Inside there, we do got a couple levels, 427 and 431.45. Next, we got Meta Platforms. Currently in the pre-market at 589.37. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 586.75, 580.10, and 568.72. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 596, followed by 601, 606, and 611.25. Next, we got Tesla currently in the pre-market at 320.61. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 320.51. 320.30 and then 318 and 313.20. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high 322.40 followed by 324.40, 327.14. Next, we got SpaceX currently in the pre-market at 109.26. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low of 108.40 followed by 106.65 and 105. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 113.17 followed by 117.15, 119.55. Next, you got Berkshire Hathaway, which is looking the strongest out of all our trillion dollar tickers today here in the pre-market. It's currently at 524 to the downside support, and it is in the gap. To the downside support, we got the bottom of the gap at 521.25 followed by 519.75 and then a pre-market low of 518.61. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 524.50 followed by 528.30, which is the middle of the gap. Next, we got MU currently in the pre-market. It is in the gap at 847.50. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 837.81 followed by 814.10. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high 869.32, 881.20, 891.75. Next, we got SPY currently in the pre-market at 769.89. It is pushing pre-market lows right now. So underneath pre-market lows, we got 769.50, 768.15, and 763.10. Let me give you one before we get in there. We got 766.15 as well. All right, to the upside, we got. Let me go ahead and add that on there. There we go. Okay, to the upside, we got the pre-market high at 771.77, 772.25, 774, and then the all-time high 776.85. Next, we got QQQ. It's pushing pre-market lows as well. So underneath that, we do have the top of this gap here. So the current price is $711.44. Underneath the pre-market lows, we got the top of the gap at $707.50. The midway point of the gap is $704.50. And it goes all the way down to $701.50. All right, to the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of $716.60, followed by $718.56, $722.90, $725.65. Next, we got IWM currently in the pre-market at $299.67. The downside support, we got the pre-market low at $299.41, followed by $298.07, and then the top of this gap here at $297.23. The bottom of the gap is $296.70. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at $300.50, followed by $301.35, $302.40, and then back to all-time highs, y'all.
Chase excellence, never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry? and master it. Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
Check out this song I made.
Chase excellence.
$1 trillion tickers precincts. Every candle tells a story. Every level has a purpose. Stay patient, stay disciplined. Execution over emotion. Process over prediction. Welcome to the trading floor. Wake up early prayers, then charge in sight. It's the bulls and bears, yeah, the market's my fight. Came from the bay, learn to ride tidal waves. Day trading futures, let the discipline pay. Eyes on the process, never chasing the crowd. Confidence quiet, don't gotta be loud. One trade at a time, let the edge do the work. Consistency first, the past success is worth. Patience is key, risk managed in my veins. Locking the profits, process leads through lanes. Charts looking cinematic, every candle has a name. They trading tight, consistency brings gains. Patience is key, risk managed in my veins. Locking the profits, process leads through lanes. Charts looking cinematic, every candle has a name. They trading tight, consistency brings gain. Bull flags, bull traps, read between the lines. Technical analysis, keep the edge refined. EMA, VWAP, every setup aligned. Opening range, breakout, execution on time. Risk stays managed, emotions stay tamed. Every trade got a purpose, never chasing the game. High probability setups, winners expand. Small losses, big discipline, that's the trader's plan. Patience is key, risk managed in my veins. Locking the profits, process leads through lanes. Charts looking cinematic, every candle has a name. They trading tight, consistency brings gains. Patience is key, risk managed in my veins. Locking the profits, process leads through lanes. Charts looking cinematic, every candle has a name. They trading tight, consistency brings gains. Combine the art with science, every trade precise. Market pays the discipline, not the rollers of dice. Trend is my companion, let the profits tell the tale. Cut the losses early, let the process never fail. 5-minute candles reading every shifting phase. Confidence earned through thousands of trading days. Built this edge with patience, skills over acts. Master the process, the profits follow that. Stay patient. Stay disciplined. Execution over emotion. Process over prediction. Respect the risk. Trust your edge. Execute. Patience is key. Risk managed in my veins. Locking the profits. Process leads through lanes. Charts looking cinematic. Every candle has a name. They trading tight. Consistency brings gains. Patience is key. Risk managed in my veins. Locking the profits. Process leads through lanes. Charts looking cinematic. Every candle has a name. They trading tight. Consistency brings gains. Prepare before the market opens. Wait for your setup. Execute the plan. Don't overtrade. Protect your capital. Live to trade another day. Mad riches, peace, blessings, financial freedom.